Are we rolling? It kind of looks like we're rolling, but I can't quite tell. Yes, we are. Awesome. Hi again, it's Lexi. Hope you are very well since I last saw you, or rather you last saw me in my last video. Just figured out that I haven't seen you, but I've heard from many of you. Thank you so much for all your comments. It's been really nice, and I've had one or two people ask me for things like the techniques that I've been using to try and manifest better success in the particular areas of my life that I'm really trying to improve. So on a very quick note, so in my last video I said I'm an actor, and I had this amazing opportunity that came up to me just over a month ago. Since then, that's kind of still ongoing, so that's good. But another huge opportunity came in not so long after I made that last video, so we're just waiting on everything now. One of them was, okay, submit a self-tape to this huge movie type thing where you're going to be playing opposite this really big actor that lots of people on both sides of the pond will have heard of. And so I submitted the self-tape, and my agent got back to me a couple of days ago going, yes, they want you to do another self-tape and possibly set up a meeting. So I was like, phew. So that's all groovy. That's all very nicely coming along. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about, including the techniques I used, is two things that can knock you off, just because I've experienced this, especially recently, in terms of my attraction levels. So when you're going along and you visualizing and you are in a good place and you know what's coming to you and the actions that you are taking are inspired and it doesn't feel like work, you're in that really lovely place. But two things can potentially knock you off, which are diametrically opposed to one another, but if you know that there is a potential for them to knock you off, then you can set up in your mind the ideas that will mean that if and when those things happen, you're already ready for it. And I wish I'd done more work on that, so pay attention. The first thing is that you're carrying along and you're seeing nothing. You're not seeing yourself, the manifestation of that which you are attracting. Now, this, of course, might make you wobble a little bit, especially if you are very new to the law of attraction. There is a tendency, just as human beings, for us to go, this is something that I can't tangibly understand. This is something which has no direct equation, except it kind of does. Therefore, if I cannot see the results, I'm going to reject this because it cannot be true. It cannot be correct. If I cannot see something that I can physically touch or acknowledge as being real and understand, therefore I don't want to waste my time. This must be the wrong route to go down. So of course what you have to understand is that when you're seeing nothing, you are looking at it through your eyes, but the universe is seeing the bigger picture. So if you are not seeing exactly what you want immediately, or let's say that you've got a kind of timeline in your mind, you know, you might not even have acknowledged it, but let's say you've given yourself a few months subconsciously and you're not seeing the manifestations take off, the first thing you might do would go, oh, this isn't working, it's not coming on through, and I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm doing everything correctly, so why isn't it happening? However, one thing that I will stress is that you do not know how these things are coming to you. You might have an idea about how they might come to you, but the universe's way, or if you subscribe to the sort of Abraham God type of thing, God works in mysterious ways. You do not know specifically how these things are going to come to you. So when it might seem that you're getting nowhere, actually you might be right on the precipice of having everything come to you, but you don't know it. So keeping the faith throughout that time, keeping your strength of conviction up, and making sure you're doing the same things every day in terms of keeping yourself in that really high vibration is tantamount to making sure that it does come through. The second thing, which happened to me very recently, in fact it happened a little bit around the time that I made my last video, is that you actually see some of the manifestations. The manifestation begins. And you've been doing this for, a little while, and you've been feeling really good, and you know that stuff is coming, and then suddenly manifestations, even little ones, baby steps start to happen. So what happened to me was I panicked because I realized this stuff is real. And when you realize that there is something bigger than you that is at work on your destiny, it is freaky. It can freak you out, and you can almost go into shutdown because you don't know how to deal with this thing that you're worried that you cannot control. You do have control over it simply because you can control your emotions and your thoughts. That is the most important thing for you to keep doing, and I wish I'd told myself this. I wish I'd pep talked myself before all of this started happening, because I think it has taken longer to manifest simply because I panicked about seeing stuff going, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I was dreaming of, this is everything that I could want, it's starting to happen. Just remember that when that starts to happen, yes, it's freaky, but it's a good thing. This is what you wanted. This is the universe at work, or God, or the gods, however you want to see it. Your faith is completely up to you, but you can see that it's happening. It's all a good thing, and if you freak out, you risk undoing everything that you have, or as I've experienced, making it take a little bit longer than it should. Because as Joe Vitale says in the film The Secret, the universe likes speed. So as soon as you've got clear what you're wanting, the universe is literally, it's like, if you think of a, I don't know why this particular image comes to mind, but a detective board where you've got, the person in the middle of the board, and it's putting a direct string to what you want. It's a direct line. And you don't know what that line looks like, you don't know what colour they used to get there, but it's coming. So you have to trust the universe. Yes, it's freaky. It's fine. You're allowed a bit of a freak out. But as soon as you realise and see that for what it is, you get back on the horse. Okay, that took slightly longer than I meant it to. So, techniques. I'll make sure that you have a thing in the link so that you can actually fast forward to this bit. Techniques that I use that mean that I try and stay in the vortex, as Abraham Hicks tends to call it. I've got a few here. Now, not all of these will work for everyone, of course. I'm just going to lay out for you what I personally do and what has kept me on a high vibration for the longest, and I'm just not going to put in things that other people have said that don't work for me. But please do your research, because there may be things here that, just don't do it for you, and you might find it somewhere else. And so the number one thing I do that I cannot stress enough has made such a difference in my confidence and in my day-to-day living and emotional experience is I visualize each and every day. Every day. And this doesn't have to be, some kind of Zen-like thing. You don't have to, though occasionally I will do, you don't have to shut yourself up in a room and, turn all the lights off, put some music on, and just focus for an hour on what you want. You don't have to do that. Every now and again, to make sure you really focus, and if you need that kind of level of focus, to do some of that will definitely help you. But you can easily visualize when you're doing the dishes, when you're, sometimes I do it like when I'm driving somewhere with someone and it's a long journey and we've run out of things to say. I'll literally pretend I'm sleeping and I just go into a visualization thing, because I know how I want my life to look, and as bits of that happen, I need to keep that topped up so that I know exactly where I'm going. The notes with that I want to give you as well are dream big and bold. if you've got quite small dreams, what you can try and do is dream even bigger, because then the things that you wanted will come all the faster, because the universe knows that you're actually after something bigger. That made more sense in my head than it did when I said it. I apologize. But yeah, find a way that works for you. If it's sitting, isolating yourself and making yourself so focused that there is nothing else that exists, that's fine. If you are running out of time in a day and you only have 5 minutes to do it on the train, for example, that's fine too. However your visualization works for you, remember you have to feel it as well. It's not just about thinking these happy thoughts, it's about getting to that place of joy where you're like, this is mine. No one can take this away from me. This is what belongs to me. These are these things that are here in front of me that are as real as if I could reach out and touch them. So yeah, number 1, visualize, for goodness sake. I would also say meditate, but some people put their visualization in with their meditation, which I do quite a lot of. So yeah, if you can meditate, that helps you focus generally as well, so I would recommend that. Next, now some people will go, ugh, but exercise. Exercise is really important for me because the endorphin levels that get released when I exercise are so worth it, especially if you've had a point at any time in your life where you've had a kind of depression, or you felt really sad, or you're affected by the weather, for example, all of which I've been. I'm not saying don't take your medication if you're on it, please don't do that, but exercise releases all these wonderful endorphins that keep you up here. This is why gym bunnies tend to be kind of like quite almost annoyingly cheerful people. So I would say exercise, and if that for me that is an hour and a half in the gym. For you, that might be walking to the shops instead of driving. It's all good. Just make sure that you are being active in some way, if at all possible. Next, lower your sugar intake. I'm talking about refined sugar here. My life started to vastly improve and my mood started to even out when I stopped having so much refined sugar. I seem to remember reading somewhere, my ex-partner, I think, told me that it's 1 molecule away from being cocaine. So you can see how you can get addicted to that stuff, and your system can easily come to rely on it as a go-to for your mood enhancement. But if you possibly can, sugar is not your friend. Replace refined sugar with fruit and honey. Honey will save your life, especially when you are first coming off it. Anything that is all natural will definitely help. So I completely recommend that. Again, this is a personal point of view, but see how once you've come off the withdrawal symptoms of sugar, you will notice the difference in how things are. Next, ignore reality. Now, reality is all around you and there's only so much you can ignore it, but your reality, where you are right now, Will Smith said at one point when he was being interviewed, when he was younger, and something that helped him go forward was the fact that he was almost taught by his father that it didn't matter where they were at that point, because that wasn't where they were always going to be, that they were always moving forward. So your reality around you is happening in the moment, and time is not this set thing. It's all about reality. And Abraham Hicks as well said that we don't live in one big world. We actually live in our own world that we are creating as we go through. So there are literally millions, billions of worlds all over this physical planet. So it is up to you to create your reality how you see it. And what goes on in your world is your business and your priority. It should be. Your perception is absolutely everything. So if you don't like the fact that you are in this job that you don't see a way out of, you can just ignore that, because, you know, get up, go to work, get on with it, but you're not going to be there forever. So don't worry. The wonder of ignoring reality is that you are suddenly open to so many more things. And people go, well, how can I sort of ignore reality when it's literally right there in front of me? Your visualization will help you. Your imagination will help you. Your desire to move on and do the next thing will help you, because your emotion, your emotional guidance system is there to make sure that whatever reality you are not appreciating is not going to be around forever. And trust me, I'm somebody who's seen this happen and had it proven to me by myself a couple of times. Your reality changes when you start to ignore the things that you don't like and really enjoy the things that you do. It just brings you more and more and more. It's almost like the universe goes, oh, I get it. I get what you want now. Oh, here, have this, have this, have this. Does this make you happy? Good. Have this, have this, have this. So you do need to practice it at the beginning. It was very difficult for me. It took me, I don't know, maybe a year or something to truly feel like I could just switch off from what was actually happening around me, and replace it with my perception and the joy that can happen. You're kind of making your reality in as much as you're ignoring it. Next, really important, follow your heart and be weird. I think so many people get caught up in this idea of, well, what's such and such going to think? What are my parents going to think? What's my spouse going to think? What's this? You know, how do I make the leap between what I want and, you know, people's perception of me? Again, it goes back to the fact that we are all in little worlds that are completely our own. And you make up your world by following your heart and being as weird and uniquely you as possible. You will only find your joy if you are plugged in to who you are and what you want to do. So that is so important. You will go straight into the vortex, as again Abraham Hicks calls it, where there is nothing but joy and there is nothing but goodness and nothing but happiness if you do just follow your heart. Spend some time also with yourself. I don't do this enough, if I'm completely honest. Just sitting there and going, so here's a couple of things I want. What do I really, really want? You know, when everything else is kind of dusted away, and you literally have only you to answer to. Remember that. You don't have to answer to anybody else for what you want. It's you. It's your soul, it's your heart calling out for something. And, you know, you have to be bold sometimes just to look after yourself and after what you want. If you do that, the law of attraction works so much quicker. It's insane how quick it works. And a little note as well, listen to music that makes you joyful. About a month or so ago, I realized that some of the music that I was listening to, it wasn't quite, it wasn't so much that it wasn't enjoyable music, it was the fact that it had the potential to bring my mood down a little, because the moods in the songs weren't as good as they could have been. They weren't overly joyful. So I started listening to just joyful tunes. And yeah, I still listen to the odd sort of, I don't know, heartbreak song every now and again, and so you should. But especially if you're teetering a little bit, just listen to songs that put you in that state of, oh yes, I love this song kind of thing. That's what you want. That is how you want to be with everything in order to, you know, manifest your desires quicker. This has been talked about, this next point, a lot. And that is, act as if you have it already. If you had absolutely everything you wanted, and you do, it's literally just there, you're kind of sucking it out of the universe, but the universe wants to be sucked, as it were. If you're acting as if you already have it, the universe just kind of fills in the voids that you create from acting as if you have it already. It also puts you in that state to receive it. I wish I could almost scientifically explain it, because I've simply practiced that myself, and and it's just happened. I don't know why it happens, but tied into this is the idea that through acting as if you already have it, you value yourself. Again, I wish I could, scientifically explain that, but if you act as if you already have it, you learn to value yourself even more, because you realize that these things are possible for you, and the more you value yourself, and the more you love yourself, and the more you accept yourself for exactly as you are, and all the things that you want to have happen, again, the quicker it comes to you. Lastly, but horrendously importantly, and I think things only started to really happen when I really got this very clear in my mind. Your life's purpose. This took me years and years to figure out as to what my life's purpose was. But with the recent passing of Muhammad Ali, he had a really, really good quote that I cannot remember word for word, but vaguely was, "What you do here on earth is the rent you pay for your time and space on this earth. What is the service that you can give to the world that will make this world a better place because you were here?" Once you've got that, what you're giving out to others, because let's face it, spirituality is about giving to others, and it's a horrendously rewarding, wonderful thing to be able to take some part of you and give it to others in a way that touches them and blesses them and makes you grateful that you were here, and yada yada yada. Have some time, and you can take as long as you want, because this is so important that you need to make sure that everything feels aligned within you. Have some time to just sit down and go, what is my life's purpose? Why am I particularly here? Why do I want to do what I want to do in order to create a better future for myself, for my family, and for other people? When you get that clear, again, things start to work that little bit faster, because it's almost like the universe goes, you got it, okay, now we're in business, type of thing. And it's a little bit like you've woken up. And having a life's purpose just makes sure that it doesn't feel, and especially if you're an empath and if you're a generous giving person, it can almost feel quite wrong and strange when you start using the law of attraction, because you worry, well, is this all for me? And isn't it a selfish thing that I want this? It's a very Northern British thing as well. I've got to give, I have to give something out. But when you find your life's purpose, you will realize how what you are attracting through using this law is actually going to serve other people. So it's not selfish at all. It is the universe bringing you what you need in order to make your life's purpose happen, so that it all connects. It's fabulous. I'm so glad I started using this technique. Anyway, those are the main things. This video has gone on longer than I intended it to, for which I heartily apologize. But I hope you've gotten something from it. I also hope that you have an absolutely lovely day, and please feel free to comment and let me know if this helped you at all, or if there's any more questions you have. Thank you so much for coming with me on this little journey already. It's been really lovely, the comments that I've had and the likes that I've had and all the views, so I really, really appreciate it. And I will hopefully see you soon. I will give you an update if and when I have one in the near future. Fingers crossed for me, and of course my fingers crossed for you on your particular beautiful journey. Take care. Bye bye.